Hi, this is Tabletop Templar, and welcome back to another video. Today we're going to play War and Peace and the Waterloo 1815 campaign. In the scenario rulebook, it is scenario 10, and it recreates or attempts to recreate the conditions for the 1815 campaign, also known as the 100 Days campaign, or probably more commonly known as the Waterloo campaign after the famous battle, the last battle of Napoleon, and the end of the Napoleonic Wars. So I wanted to try this one for a while, and because why not? This is seems like an interesting scenario. And reading the victory conditions real quick in the booklet, if I can get focused. So the victory conditions are: the non-French player wins the game automatically, and the game automatically ends if there is at least one unbesieged supplied non-French strength point inside Paris at the end of the turn. The non-French player does not achieve his victory condition. If the non-French player, the French player wins the game. And it even gives you a note. Note, this is an exceedingly difficult scenario for the French player to win. For competitive purposes, we recommend that the players play this scenario twice, with each player taking the French side in one game. The French player who maintains control of Paris for a greater number of turns should be considered the winner of the match. The scenario begins in June 1815 and ends in December 1815. There's no alliance phase. This is special rules. The supply source for all French and satellite forces are in any city in France or Italy. And then it goes to supply. So we've got the Austrians, the English, the Prussians, and the Russians against the French. The English sea movement rule means that you can, at any time, for movement, if you're at a controlled port, you can move 2 English strength points and 1 leader to another port. Not sure if they'll be able to do that, if that'll come up. If the Dutch forces, if France can retake Brussels, then they're going to get they'll knock out the satellite forces, which is kind of a big deal. And there's a handful of satellite forces. It definitely helps. And then they gain control of what they called the Batavian Republic, which was Holland. Partisan rule is in effect, so which probably will happen because France is going to get invaded. I assume this is an interesting one. Demoralization. During any combat phase, if a force containing Napoleon is demoralized, the basic morale value of all French regular infantry and cav is permanently reduced to 1 at the start of the next player's segment. That's pretty big. And another one is because the French have natural morale of 2. I think it really does a good job. It kind of shows that they're losing their edge against the Allies. But Napoleon is back, so there's sort of a brief period of morale boost. But if he loses, then I think it represents them kind of going back to a situation where they're basically on par with everyone else. The special first turn restrictions. During June 1815, which is the first turn, French units may only be moved by forced marching. During June of the same year, the non-French player must keep 6 strength points inside Brussels until the end of the second round of combat. In addition, the non-French player may not commit additional strength points to any battle initiated by the French player until the end of the second round of combat. So, and here's all of that. There's no replacements. There's only reinforcements. Reinforcement schedule. France is going to get 4 infantry in Paris and 1 at Lyon every turn. Austria is going to get 1 infantry, 1 Landwehr in Munich. The English will get 2 infantry in London. Ah, okay, that's right. That's where the naval movement is going to come into play. They're going to be able to move those 2 from London to any port. Prussia, 1 infantry, 1 Landwehr at Munster, and then August, 1815, they're going to get a small army, a leader 0, 2 infantry, 2 Landwehr, 1 cav. Russia is going to come in August 1815. There's going to be 2 armies, 1 at Frankfurt, Barclay de Tolly, a leader, 10 infantry, 2 cav, 2 Cossack calves. Same year at Würzburg, Constantine, a leader 0, 6 infantry, 4 guard infantry, 1 cav, 1 guard cavalry, and 2 Cossacks. So, pretty substantial force. Napoleon wants to kind of try to end this, or at least strike a severe blow before the Russians come. If the opposing player controls a city where reinforcements are scheduled to arrive, they come into adjacent cities, so you can't stop the reinforcements. No replacements. Okay. So the situation with the rules is the French on the first turn are not going to be able to move. Well, they can move, but they have to force march to move. So that's going to be interesting. The deployment are Napoleon. Here's Napoleon right here. Let me zoom in. Okay. So up here, here's Napoleon's force. Here's Wellington here. Here's Blucher. So Napoleon starts, and here's Paris right here. Davout is in Paris. Napoleon starts within 2 hexes of Paris. So I put him here, and this is essentially where Waterloo is going to happen, ideally. And so there's 2 hexes, so they have to force march. So the force march table, they need to move 2. So there's 2 to go, 1, 2, because you just have to be right there, right next to Wellington. And so we're gonna need to roll this. We're gonna need, and then we are gonna get a -1 because they're all French units. They're not unsupplied. They're not in Spain or Russia. It's not winter. It's June. They're not all guard units. So we're gonna get a -1 to that roll. So just and kind of go back to look at the greater situation here. Down here, this is Spain. So now this, even though, so in the original game, so John Gant, the designer, let me back up, kept the original deployment. So because of the map, and let me move and show you. So the Naples was just up here, so where Florence is, but Naples, the actual city, wasn't included on the original map. So he kept the same deployment. And there were some players that suggest maybe you should alter that to have Murat, because he was king of Naples at this time, start in Naples. I mean, I definitely agree with that. But for this particular scenario, I've opted to stick with just the original deployment. I mean, I can always go back and tinker it with a different time, but I've decided to set this up and to keep that. So just keep that in mind, because of the addition of Naples, that there is going to be some scenarios that you might want to alter them if you want to keep them more in line with history. But in particular, the forces for in the original game, Florence was really the only Naples city. I'm not sure if Leghorn was included here in the original. I can't remember, but I know Naples wasn't, or Rome. Rome's here as well. but in reality, Murat was the king of Naples, and really he would have been in Naples, defending his kingdom. But in the original, because the original map didn't have Naples or Rome or the rest of the peninsula, they put Murat's force in Florence. And John Gant decided not to alter that, so that's where he is now. So that's why he's there. But just thought I'd mention that. So the Russians are over here. I've put them. That's why they're sitting in this. I'll wait to place them. So I didn't want to crowd the board, and because they're not on there yet. Um, so here's the situation. We've got an Austrian force here. We've got Murat here. Um, this is a force, a pretty strong force by Bellegarde, infantry, cavalry. He can attack southern France. So obviously the main situation is going to start with recreating Waterloo. If you can get the forced march roll right, we're going to do that. But I wanted to show what else is going on. There's going to be, Schwarzenberg is here with a large force. He's going to cut across probably into central France. The rest of these armies really need to fall back and try to, well, either assist Napoleon and try to land the knockout blow. Napoleon's going to try to do this, move here, take out Wellington, and then take out Blucher. Um, I mean, I guess you could try to get the three force march and go here and attack Blucher first, which technically would be historically accurate because the first battles were at Ligny and Quatre Bras. So, and then attacked Wellington. I'm not sure which is the better option. That might be, but then that requires, oops, that would require getting three. So theoretically, I could try that, and then see, because if I just get two, then I can still attack Wellington. But then there's a higher degree. So that these stars means you lose a strength point. So I'm not sure. Let me count it up, and I'll let you know which is the weaker option. So I counted them up, and both Wellington and this is Wellington's force right here, and Blucher both have 17 total strength points. And so I think it's probably better to try to get the two here. So we're going to go ahead and look at our turn sequence. Let's do this in order. So attrition phase. Attrition is always ignored on the first turn. Alliance phase. There's no alliance phase in this scenario. Reinforcements phase. I think that I might double check, but I think that they might omit that, but I'm gonna check. So yeah, we're gonna do the reinforcements, and France is going to get 4 infantry at Paris and 1 infantry at Lyon. So 4 to Paris. Davout is right here, so he'll be able to have some troops to defend. I was wondering why there wasn't anyone. And 1 at Lyon. Oh, there it is. And that will reinforce that southern flank. So that is done. And let me zoom in just a little bit so that way everyone can see a little bit better. And actually, I'm going to adjust the camera. Sorry about this. And so everyone can kind of see this a little bit better. There we go. Okay, so now for the movement. Reinforcements. Now we do ground movement. Napoleon is going to want to move this force right here. So you might not be able to see this, but in his current space, there's a bridge. So he can cross this with 1, 2. He needs 2 movement points to get there. And I think I'm going to drop off some leaders. I'll keep Ney, but Soult is in this army as well. I think he is going to come over here. Well, I don't know. I don't know if this is a good move, but he's going to try to get, because they have to force march. Now, Cav can force march on their own, but I think I want to bring them as one force. So I'm going to do that. And let's just roll it. Let's see if he gets there. I need 2. We'll do the force march chart. So here's the die. We're going to add. We're going to subtract 1. So we want a low number. Let's see. 3. 3 minus 1 is a 2. So 2. And we get the 2 movement points. Napoleon can march to Waterloo. 1, 2. Napoleon moves. And I knock over. Oh, goodness. Let's see if I can. Oh. Okay. I'm going to have to make sure that this is all the right force. This is such a cluster. Oh my goodness. Okay. I'm going to double check to make sure everything's right. I'm so sorry. We'll be right back and make sure everything is right, because some of these might have got flipped over. Okay, here we have the battle. I've put, so you can see, so we're going to go ahead and count up the, well, actually, no, we're going to do that yet. We're going to, so that's where they moved. So we're going to try and get other French armies. So the rule is, you can, for reinforcements, they have to be adjacent to either hex where the battle is taking place. So these 2 hexes are where the battle is taking place, where Napoleon and Wellington are. So they have to be adjacent to either one of them. Doesn't have to be, you could have a French over here touching Wellington. It still would count. So that's how it works. So that's what we're also going to do. We're going to try to move troops to touch either one, because I think this is going to be key. This is going to be a pretty important battle. So we're going to want to get in there right now and try to have the opportunity to join the battle. So Soult is going to, let's see, he can go 1. He just needs to go 1. So he just needs a, and they're both French units. Double check. I think they're French cav. They are. Soult will roll 1 die. He just needs 1, so this should be pretty easy. And I rolled a 1, and just to show you the force march table, roll a 1, you get it. Anything but a 6 for if you just need 1. So Soult moves here. See, Davout is in Paris with these 4 infantry. 1, 2, 3. He could try and force march there. The problem is I don't know if I want to leave Paris completely, because you got these Austrian armies are going to come here. This is going to be a slug out battle, so I'm not sure what the play is. But I'm going to move this army to try to go here. This is a force of four. This is a 4 infantry here. They're going to try to force march 1. They get. I roll another 1. So they move here. Here is Jerome Bonaparte with 5 infantry at Amiens. The river is here. I can't go directly here, so I need 1, 2. Well, if Jerome goes here, if he goes here, then it would kind of block Davout off of a potential path. Well, actually, he could join up. Yeah, it doesn't block him. I'm sorry. Yeah, Jerome will try to reinforce his brother. He just needs the 1. Oh, I rolled a 6. But it's -1, which is I forgot. Because they're all French, so it still works. So actually, I don't even need to roll. I don't even know why I'm rolling. He gets the 1. He gets the force march. So Jerome moves there with 5 infantry. Let's see. Anywhere else? Where do I want to move? You're down here. This is a force. So leader 0, 2, 4, 5, 6 troops. Mix of cav and infantry. They're not going to move. They're in, Lyon. That's where it is. Yeah, they're going to defend the city. We have some troops here. We have Geneva. 2 French, 1 Swiss. They can't move. Marseille. We have this force down. You can't see it, but there's 1 infantry further south in Marseille. They can't move. We have a 2 Tours. 2 infantry here. They're gonna stay put. Probably as to reinforce Paris whenever that comes. These forces here. 2, 4, 5. 4 infantry, 1 cav. Huh. They could attack. And this is actually kind of 5, 6, 7. 7 Landwehr, 1 cav for Austrians. They could attack. They could overrun, actually. Well, no, they have to force march. So it would require 2 movement points. I don't know, can you overrun with a force march? Let me double check, just to make sure. Just it might come up for if anyone's interested in that rule. It turns out you can. According in the rules, the rule book, rules of play, L, which is the Overrun Rule, and it says the active player may use force marching to execute an overrun. However, an overrun may not be executed unless the moving force can expend the full movement point cost to enter the hex. Basically saying you can't use it to try to cheat and move further than you're supposed to. But yeah, you can do it. So an overrun is if you have 4-1 odds, which he does. You have to expend an additional movement point. So what terrain is this? It's a city. Oh, it's a city. That's Baden. No, never mind. He can't overrun Baden. Because then it would turn into a siege, and then it'd be besieged, and it doesn't want to do that. They want to fall back, is what they want to do. I guess he could defend here, but it's kind of a trap. Austrians would then link up and then besiege this, This is Strasbourg. He can't come here, but I feel like defending across the river might help. I think that these forces really need to fall back. Could try to go to he could try to go to Verdun or here. He would go to Verdun for free. This force. Let me just make sure that there are no. Yeah. This leader can go to Verdun, move from Metz to Verdun for free, because there's the bridge here. This is a river, but there's a bridge. That might be better. It would provide some defense. Although it'd probably be better to go here to then link up, but I don't know. I'm not sure how much further they should go. I think I'll just play it safe. They'll just go. Oh, this is so awkward. This tiny little. Okay. Goes to Verdun. He's done. And Strasbourg, what does he do? I think he needs to fall back. I think he needs to fall back and join this force here. 1, 2. I think I'm going to try to get here. So, I think I checked. This is all French. There's no satellite forces here. It's going to retreat from Strasbourg. I think it's a death trap to stay in Strasbourg. I think he needs to link up with this other force. And then hold against the Prussians here. I think this is the best move. All right. -1. I rolled a 2. That's a 1. Show you the March chart just one more time. I need 2. So I rolled a 2 -1. That's the 1. I get the 2. That's how it works. 1, 2. Abandon Strasbourg. I think that's the move. I think cities are kind of death traps to stay there. I think moving out of the city, I mean, I know it's kind of, you wouldn't really give up, but I think that's the play. And there's a river on this side. You can't, it's hard to see, but that will defend them and give them some bonuses if there's a battle for the Austrians or Prussians. And Davout. What does Davout do? He's got movement points. I could go and pick up. Oh, we can't force, I have to force march. Paris is safe for the moment. I think he can move and try to grab these 2 infantry at Tours. I think he's going to move here. I don't think I should try to do this. I think he needs to. Well, they're going to get. Well, actually, you know what? They're going to get 4 infantry every turn in Paris. So I think Davout needs to try to go 1, 2, 3. And link up with Jerome here. I think that's the move. So, -1. Yeah, we'll just see what happens. Oh, I rolled a 1. Wow, I'm rolling good. Okay, so for 3, that way you see it. I rolled a 1. I get the 3 points. So yeah. Davout 1, 2, 3 is going to link up and take over Jerome's force, and will be available, to support Napoleon on a successful roll. So let me zoom in here. remove it so that way we can get a little bit more clarity on what's happened. So this is the situation here at the end of the French turn, and this is going to be the battle. Waterloo right here. So I will zoom out so that way you can see this battle going on here. And I'll get that set up for the Battle of Waterloo in just a moment. So I actually made a little bit of a miscalculation initially. So when I said that both sides had 10, I wasn't counting all of the satellite forces. So there's 10 French, but there's actually there's 10 English total strength points, but there's actually 1 Brunswick, and there's an additional six Holland Dutch troops that I did not take into account, and so this actually might be really high risk. Probably if I did this, might try to attack Blucher first. But I think that I'm still going to go ahead with this because of all of the support. So, but you do have to fight 1 round, and then all of the additional troops can be brought in as well. But that also is for both sides. That giant force by Blucher. I think that maybe the scenario was meant for you to attack Blucher first and then Wellington, but I'm going ahead and fighting Wellington. Well, let's see how this goes. If it's ends horribly, then this is supposed to be tough for the French. But if it ends bad, I can always restart it in another video. So, but we'll see how this goes. This Waterloo goes, and then depending on how this goes, we might either restart the scenario and we try it again with a different strategy, but I might try to play it out. This is supposed to be tough, so but this definitely is going to be a multi-part video. I'm going to try to split this one up. So you know what, we could stop here and then in part 2 do the battle, because now this is coming up on over half an hour. So I want to split this one up. So we'll come back in part 2. So look out for my second video, and we'll start with Waterloo. So, all right, I'll catch you the next time.